Hello, welcome to Game On, the show that starts with a pithy introduction that inevitably ends up in the music cutting out at the punchline.
The music cutting out?
Yeah, and then you challenge me on something I've said, I explain the situation and you make some sort of reassuring noise.
Ah.
Then I go, coming up! Monsters, guns and ropey Russian accents. We can't reverse the singularity, but we sure as hell can review it.
Also, we throw PlayStation a mini party. First though on Gamey-O, well, Natty L, can you guess what's next?
Hang on, don't tell me. Gamey-O, Natty L. Is it something about Cliffy B?
Bingo.
Yep, Cliff Bleszinski, big shot at Epic Games, dropped in for an all-singing, all-shooting walkthrough of Bulletstorm, which from now on we'll refer to as Bully S.
Interestingly, Cliffy was also seemingly trying to win the world's deepest voice competition at the same time, presumably hoping no one would notice.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Cliff Bleszinski. I'm design director over here at Epic Games.
Just bizarre. Anyway, Cliffy starts the video showing off the lush environments of Bully S, sounding quite a lot like an estate agent along the way.
We at Epic are big on vistas, and Bulletstorm is a game that has many vistas that are quite lovely, as you can see.
That is a lovely vista.
Isn't it? Not sure about the area, though. Doesn't look very safe. Let's not put an offer in just yet.
Can I kick open a door and squish him on a wall? Get a bad touch for 100 points right there.
That's probably wise, as pretty soon Cliffy B does away with the nicey-nicey environmental stuff and just gets into the gritty action.
Start using a combination of your boot to kick guys away.
The game certainly looks cool, but it's actually got us a little worried about Cliff. I mean, his metaphors are just weird.
Ultimately, this kind of pans out like that game we all had as a child where you had the balloon with the rubber band and you kind of hit back and forth and you toy with your enemies like, you know, a cat plays with a mouse or like a fat kid plays with his cake.
Ooh, that was weird.
Yeah, it's part nostalgia, part fatty bashing.
Like a fat kid plays with his cake.
Still though, we're willing to stick with it as it's our best demonstration of the game's engine so far, particularly in the lighting effects.
See those nice god beams kind of poking in here. Bulletstorm, by the way, has 2 suns, which means twice the god beams, which is always very, very sexy.
Now, we know what some of you are thinking. Who cares about god beams? Stuff the lighting effects. We just want to blow things up. While we agree the lighting might not be the most exciting part of the game, it does still give us a good indication of the ethos behind Bulletstorm. Sorry, Bully S.
We seem to be in a world filled with lots of military shooters, and Bulletstorm is pulp sci-fi at its best.
Yep, ignoring the fact Cliffy B is almost single-handedly responsible for Gears of War,
Perhaps the greyest thing since rain clouds were invented,
Bulletstorm really does feel like a breath of fresh air.
the lighting is more vibrant, the characters are more lively, and the scope for carnage is insane.
Trigger, you kind of set traps with that as well, get all sorts of cool skill shots.
There's no shortage of the sugary arcade vibe Bully S has been pushing so hard since it was first announced. Also, as you can expect from Epic Games, there's a decent array of different enemies, each presenting their own challenges.
As you can see, the gang members have clearly found access to buckets of fried chicken on this decaying tourist paradise, because this guy clearly has a cholesterol problem.
Man, Cliff does not like fat people, does he?
No, still, let's see how he deals with this guy.
Leash this guy to distract him, get his armor off, and shoot him in the ass. Get the fire in the hole skill shot, and to the best of my knowledge, this is the only video game that allows you to give your enemies a colon cleansing with lead.
I wonder why, Cliff.
Do cool stuff, get cool stuff to do even more cool stuff.
Bulletstorm is out sometime next year. We'll be bringing you the latest on the fatty bashing franchise as soon as we get it.
Get this thing moving, getting faster! You want to come do it? Fine! I do not speak trade!
You've got to feel sorry for those Russians sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost 20 years after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and us capitalist dogs are still busy shooting them down.
At least now they can breathe easy for a while, though, thanks to the release of Singularity.
Life turns to death.
Whoa, what? Those are definitely Russians. That doesn't look comforting in the slightest.
Yeah, but... Oh, no, sorry, it's the Germans that can breathe easy for a while. No, we're still shooting the Russians in the face.
Oh.
And death becomes something in between.
Yes, it was a long time coming, but Singularity is finally out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
The gloriously gory game from Raven Studios is one big what-if question, centred around the Soviet Union after the end of World War II.
The background tells you, while Joseph Stalin is still leading the USSR, the Ruskies discover a unique new element on the island of Katorga 12. An element they dub E99.
E99?
Yep.
You mean egg?
Yeah. Egg.
They have harnessed the Singularity.
Anyway, Stalin then orders testing into Egg and its bizarre time-altering capabilities. After Khrushchev assumes power, he demands they accelerate experimentation and do live field tests. This, of course...
Whoa, you say Khrushchev made them order faster testing?
Yeah?
Khrushchev couldn't mobilise a chain gang in a gulag.
Fittingly then, the experiments all go horribly wrong, wiping out the island's population and causing the Soviets to bury the island facility.
50 years on, you play as US operative Nathaniel Renko.
Seriously? That's a rubbish name. That's like Chris Redfield bad.
No, Nathaniel Renko. I like it.
Today, Mother Russia.
Anyway, Renko crash lands on the island where he's quickly attacked by hideous freaks, mutated by exposure to, egg. After a while, it becomes obvious the island is caught in some sort of time flux, occasionally plonking you back in the US, back in the US, back in the USSR.
You okay? There's a bit of a stutter there.
I feel fine.
Millions will die, perhaps more.
In your first hour or two of playing Singularity, you'll mostly be reminded of BioShock, not only thanks to the environments, audio logs, or frequent health packs, but also the Unreal Engine behind the game.
The Unreal tech powering Singularity has allowed Raven to build a smooth and sturdy gaming experience. The frame rates are slick, time manipulation sequences are fairly impressive, and the game feels satisfyingly robust in your hands.
Now, it has to be said, any first-person shooter walks a fine line between challenging the gamer and merely frustrating them.
Go on without me. He's angry with me.
Though it sometimes dithers into the wrong side, like when you're facing multiple enemies at close quarters.
At which point the camera puts you at a major disadvantage.
For the most part, you're in the sweet spot.
This is our destiny.
Difficulty curve aside, though, one thing is certain about this Activision release: Singularity is not your standard FPS.
The time manipulation device is a fun tool and showed incredible potential in the build-up to Singularity's release. It's powered solely by Egg and enables you to propel certain objects forward or backward in time. For example, fixing a rusted door control or aging an enemy into a skeleton.
It's powered by Egg. Guess you could say that makes it an eggy soldier.
Brilliant.
Eggy soldier.
Revert him to a pool of waste.
It's all very novel, but in practice the TMD is a little like the Glade powers in Wolfenstein. Your time manipulation abilities certainly add depth to the game, but they're by no means life-changing. The TMD is most useful in Singularity during combat, expanding your arsenal and in the plot itself driving the story onwards.
He who possesses the TMD possesses the power to change the world.
So ultimately, if you do pick up Singularity, you shouldn't expect it to change your world, but you can rest assured that what it does very well.
It's tense, it's robust, and it's sufficiently challenging to keep you engaged.
With a surprisingly meaty story for a game that could have practically bypassed one altogether, there's a lot to like in Singularity. You get the feeling Raven are playing things a little safe rather than going out on a limb, but at the same time it's stuffed with a confidence that only comes with doing what you do well.
I told them it was unsafe.
Singularity samples some of the good bits from BioShock, Portal, Wolfenstein and Dead Space. It would have been very easy to take these aspects and make a proper rotten egg. But while Singularity may not do anything revolutionary in the process, Raven have crafted a taut, tense and enjoyable experience.
A small gamble at full price, a bargain once it's knocked down to 20 quid, you could do far, far worse.
Now, there are a lot of words you could use to describe the PlayStation 3.
Black,
Shiny,
heavy,
efficient.
slim.
Yes, slim. Now, though, there's a whole new adjective to apply to the PS3, one Sony will be very happy with.
Oh yeah, what's that then?
Profitable.
Our mountain emerged out of the chaos.
Yep, it's taken them since 2006, but console sales of the PlayStation 3 have finally become profitable for Sony.
Hang on, Sony have been selling PS3s at a loss for nearly 5 years.
Absolutely. See, in the long run, it works out better for Sony if they initially sell the consoles for less than it cost them to make. That way, more people will buy them and they'll make a lot more money through software purchases. Simply put, cheaper consoles equals more game sales equals more money.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And now finally Sony can throw a party for themselves because they're making money off every console sold.
Just out of interest, how does that compare to the others?
Well, the Xbox 360 started turning a profit late 2008, but that came out in 2005, so I had a bit more time to play with.
Right.
And the Wii has always been a profit turner.
Excuse me?
Yep, the Wii has always been profitable from the very first one.
Blimey.
Yep, and you wonder why their press conferences are so smug. That's it from us for this week. We're off to set up a support line for any chubby kids feeling picked on by silly named gaming producers.
More gaming gratuity next week.
Yep, and then you question me about something I've said. Sorry, nipple tweak.
That is a lovely vista.
Isn't it?
Cool.
Oh, ew.
Oh.
Your stomach just shut down.
Sound like Tony Soprano. Oh!
Man, Cliff does not like fat people, does he?
Not... Sorry.
No. Man, Cliff does not like fat people, does he?
Not at all. Still, let's see how he deals with this bloke. Yeah,
That was weird.
it's
Something weird.
This guy.
This fella.
Still, let's see how he deals with this guy.
Still sounds weird.
It's-
What is weird about
I
that?
don't know.
Man, Cliff does not like fat people, does he?
Sorry.
Man, Cliff does... No, it now sounds weird me saying man. Man, Cliff does not like fat people.
Sorry.
What are you looking at me with that inane grin for?
Should we swap it over? Man, Cliff does not like fat people, does he?
No, let's... I didn't say it right. There's something...
There was
there's
an
something,
accent in there.
Yeah. Let's see how he deals with this guy.
Gerard
Okay.
Butler's in the studio.
This is Bulletstorm!
I wonder why, Cliff. Why, Cliff?
Yeah, I wonder why Cliff Jean is in the Fugees.
Just 'cause she does it, coco.
That don't make her a ho no. At which point the camera puts you at a disadvantage.
For the most part, you're mostly in the most.
Mostly in the most.
Called up my mama, said I'm in love with a stripper, yo.